Hi everybody, I am Delta Prime and you are watching Delta Prime Reviews. So, today we're doing something a little bit different. I know I usually alternate between Autobot Decepticon, Autobot Decepticon, but this here's the last true Decepticon figure that I have in my collection right now. And you'll see what I mean by true very soon. As in one of the next week's reviews. So, for today's review, I got Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Kingdom Core Class Megatron. Now, we've seen a comparison between this Megatron and Rise of the Beast Megatron. You can see how he's really, really small. And, but for how small he is, he's very accurate to the Netflix adaptation. But he's not very accurate for a G1 Megatron. The main reason being is you can tell he transforms into a tank. And for the G1 fans, you know that G1 Megatron transformed into a gun. A Walter P90, I think what it was. Now, the reason why we don't have this Megatron as a gun, well, there's two reasons for that. One being there are very strict gun laws in America nowadays, and believe it or not, there's even stricter toy gun laws. Because you have to make sure that the toy gun has some identifier of it being a toy gun, and normally that's with an orange cap. Which is confusing because I'm pretty sure airsoft rifles and stuff like that has orange caps to differentiate them from being from real guns and non-real guns. So what's another way they do that to make sure there's different? Well, you make a gun that doesn't look like a gun. That's why a lot of Nerf guns and water guns are looking really different or clear and see-through and stuff like that. To differentiate them from being a real gun. Now, the reason why this becomes a problem for a toy is because when you have a toy line where the figures are supposed to look like their alt modes are supposed to look as realistic as possible, well, you can see where the issues lie there. You can't make this into a toy gun and have it be realistic. Because then it just creates a bunch of problems, right? Like, I remember, well, I don't remember, I wasn't born then, but I remember reading things and seeing reviews where they use with the G1 Megatron where you transform in a gun, and there's just so many stories of people being arrested for holding a gun, and it was actually Megatron in gun mode. Heck, there's third party. If you really want a realistic gun mode Megatron, there's third parties that make them at masterpiece scale. I would not recommend that though. Or at least if you're going to buy that, keep it at home. I've seen people get arrested. I've legit seen people get arrested with third-party Megatrons in gun mode, just for them to finally just for the cops to figure out it's a gun. It's a robot. 30 minutes later. So don't. There's a lot of issues there. So that's one reason. That's the one main reason that this Megatron doesn't turn into a gun. The other reason, the second main reason, is that Megatron's signature alt mode is no longer a gun. It is now his most widely accepted signature alt mode is now a tank, some sort of aircraft, or in some weird cases, a car. And he's been a truck a couple times too. So the most recent interpretation of Megatron being a gun was just in the show. Titan's Return, Machinima's Titan's Return, which is part of the Prime Wars trilogy. There was Combiner Wars, Titan's Return, and Power of the Primes. In all three, we saw him turn to a weird airsoft-looking rifle that Optimus Prime got to wield him as plenty of times. But in those toy lines, we got him as a tank. I think they could have done something with that alt mode there. Because like I said, it was a weird airsoft looking Nerf rifle. It wouldn't even pass as a real gun. So I think they could have done something there. But alas, they didn't. So yeah. So getting to the character comparisons of G1, he's much darker in color scheme than his G1 counterpart. The G1 counterpart was like not a gunmetal gray. This is a gunmetal gray here, but more of a gunmetal white. I know you don't hear people say gunmetal white often, but that's the best I can describe him as. So, is he very accurate to Megatron, to the original G1 Megatron? Like I said multiple times, no, this figure is not. Until you get into Generation 2, where they decided the gun mode wasn't best for Megatron, so they went to tank mode. This still doesn't look like G2 Megatron whatsoever. Because the upper half of the tank mode was literally his upper body. And his head would pop up. But I guess it's reminiscent of his G2 counterpart. So, of course, he has his usual fusion cannon, which is a nice detail. Surprisingly, you can see the detail very well, even though it's in black. So, before we get into articulation, accessories we got. Hold on. This gun, this gun, if it looks familiar, if you're a G1 fan and it looks familiar, this is because this is Megatron's gun mode. The Walter P90. Only difference is it doesn't have the stock that goes into an armrest thing. And yeah, he can hold it either. Hold on. In either fist. So, I find this funny because he's practically holding himself. I don't know why. I just find that hilarious. Or you can store it back here via either of these pegs. You can store it like this. Or you can do what I like to do and do this to give him more of a G1 look. It doesn't help much, but it works. Or, and this is for alt mode, you use this end right here and you plug into his fusion can to make it look longer. And this makes the tank mode look stupid. But, I see why they did, because this is a little short without that as an extension. So, articulation. Head can rotate a full 360 degrees. Arms are on a ball joint. There's a ball joint at the elbow. The fusion can rotate. And there is a swivel in this fist for the transformation. Yeah, in this fist, there's a swivel. It does not do a full 360 degrees. Just a 180. Because of that piece right there and how it is used. This one does not have a swivel, as you can see. It's fully molded in. It has waist articulation. You can rotate a full 360 degrees. Ball joints in the hips, so he can kick back that much and kick forward that much. There's a ball joint in the knee, so knee can bend that much. And then swivel a bit around. There is no ankle pivots, but he's still a very posable figure. So yeah. As you can see, the ball joints in his knees are a little loose on my figure. But it's a cool little figure, cool little renditions of Megatron that can be easily looked past. So, let's get straight into the transformation, shall we? So first off, what you want to do is, you want to unpeg, hold on, you want to come back here, unpeg the backpack. Just fold it up right now, like that. Come to his head, rotate that 180 degrees. Then you're going to come to his shoulders, unpeg them like that. Just unpeg them. And fold them back so that it looks like this. Don't, just do that. Just do that. Then next what you want to do is, come to the waist, rotate that 180 degrees. Next, what you want to do is that there's, I don't know how well you can see that, but there's a peg hole right there in the forearm. That'll peg right into that peg right there. So, rotate the fist so that this peg is pointing in like that, and then peg it in. And this is why there's a swivel here, because this will swivel up and hide the ball joint, and then it reveals the peg hole there. So, do that, like that. Peg those in, like so, and then peg that in there. Oh, I just screwed up. So what you want to do is, oh my god, rotate the cannon around like that. Yeah, rotate it around like that. And then you can peg them together. Oh gosh. now you see what I mean by it's a little, the can's a little small. So next what you want to do is you just bring this over like this so you get the front of the tank, right? Sorry, I've got to get, so bring this and fold it over like that. It doesn't peg into place yet, but you get the front of the tank when you do that. Next, what you want to do is come to the legs, unpeg them, and there's a hinge in them that allows you to hinge it out like this. And it's going to snap into two places. That peg right there is going to snap into there, and then that groove right there will slot right into here. So that's do the same over here. And this is what I mean by the ball joints are really loose. I can never transform this without accidentally popping the ball joint off. And then, oh my god. See, that connection is much tighter on this leg than it is on the other one. So let's just fix that. Peg this in right here. And fix that by just bringing that up. And then up and down like that. And just keep it up like that. It'll have a tendency to collapse on itself. Don't let that happen. And then to finish the tank mode, we'll plug this in. So the directions say to plug it in like that. I don't like the fact there's a scope on the top of the tank. What I do, I like to flip it. Yes, it may look a little stupid, but in this way, it looks like the tank turret has two barrels, which I think make it look way cooler. So that is Megatron in his tank mode, and for the most part, it's a really great tank mode. Even from the back, it's not that bad. Sure, there's a gap there, but no, we've seen worse on tank modes. And I gotta say, there's not much really robot kibble on the bottom either. Normally, the directions say to leave the head facing this way. But I don't, because I don't like to turn this around and see Megatron playing peekaboo. So I just do that. If you ever, so if you ever see this in a Ross or something, sure, yes, totally get this. I would recommend you get this. It's a great little rendition, and if you really want a Megatron in your collection, this or Rise of the Beast would be a great interpretation. So, yeah. I have been Delta Prime, asking you to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video review. Bye-bye!